I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, are you serious? Are you serious? Plagues of Egypt. That's right. The plagues of Egypt are coming during the solar eclipse where X marks the spot down there in southern Illinois, in Carbondale, Illinois. I'm going to tell you all about it. This is unreal, guys. This is unbelievable. Really, really, it is. And first, let's put a shout out right now for www.pastorpaulgold.com. That's www.pastorpaulgold.com. Guys, if you're trying to navigate market turbulence, why not set the course at Noble Gold Investments in a safe haven? You see, while global uncertainty is looming, your savings and retirement plans are under siege. But there's one asset that has stood the test of time: gold. It's a biblical currency. You can unlock the peace of mind that comes with owning gold, the ultimate safe haven. And if precious metals are new to you, let Noble Gold walk you through, hold your hand through this process. Not hard, don't take long. And they have a team of experts who will guide you every step of the way. And if you do get a gold or silver IRA or roll that 401k over, they'll give you this 3 ounces of pure silver, amazing silver American virtue coin. It could be yours for free. Just go to www.pastorpaulgold.com. That's www.pastorpaulgold.com, or call them at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. And tell them that Pastor Paul Begley sent you there. Okay, guys, you'll really be glad that you did. Now, shocking, I got to thank Laura Wells Thomas. She just recently got married. I got to thank her for getting this information to us after some extensive study. This is quite extraordinary what she has brought forward here, and it's incredible, really. We talk about it in our book, Revelation 9:11, how this solar eclipse is more than just a solar eclipse. It is a sign from God for America and the world. And so now we've even got more reason to pay close attention to this sign because of what it's going to do, and what's going to happen is miraculous. It's apocalyptic. If this comes to pass as they are believing it will, this is a prophecy of biblical, literally biblical proportion. And I'm not saying that lightly. First of all, you're going to have a total solar eclipse of the sun. It is the second one in a 7-year period that crosses America. So that happens on April the 8th, 2024. It's just amazing. It's 6 days after my book comes out, Revelation 9:11, in which we discuss this event and, of course, a whole lot more. So keep that in mind. The book starts shipping. Go to Amazon.com, get your copy of Revelation 9:11. That book is released on April the 2nd. The solar eclipse will happen April the 8th. And if you are in the path of it, total eclipse of the sun, you'll be able to see it. I'm going to be, because I'm going to be in Dallas, Texas at a conference. And so I'm praying that it's a beautiful sunny day and I can look at it and see it again. I saw the first one in 2017 while in Idaho. I want to see this one while in Texas. But if you're in Illinois, if you're in Carbondale, Illinois, you're in this very rare spot where the 2017 solar eclipse and the 2024 solar eclipse, where the X is. The X marks the spot. Get this. It's in Carbondale, Illinois. That area is known as Little Egypt. There's an actual pyramid only 60 miles away from there. It's called Little Egypt. There's a town right next door to it called Cairo. There's the University of Southern Illinois University is there, and their mascot is the Salukis, which is the dog of Pharaoh. And this is incredible. So it's going to happen again for the second time in 7 years. That town is going to have a total eclipse of the sun. But something else is going to happen that's going to blow your mind. This hasn't happened since 1803, that two separate sets of cicadas emerge from the ground at the same time. A double whammy. It's going to be over a trillion locusts in Illinois, parts of Indiana, parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. But Illinois is going to be just covered, literally covered with two different types of cicadas. Again, one set of cicadas, or one set of they eat leaves off trees. They're going to consume everything. This is going to be unbelievable. They're a kissing cousin to locusts. And you guys know that in Egypt you had total darkness. That was the first plague, and it lasted for 3 days. And you had locusts, swarms of it. This is two Egyptian plagues in a place called Little Egypt, where the second solar eclipse marks the spot. Are you serious? But here's the deal. This hasn't happened since for 221 years. It hasn't happened since 1803 that both of these emerged at the same time from the ground. But it's going to happen, and it's probably going to happen right during this solar eclipse. It could be a few days before. It'll last all summer. It could be maybe it's a week later, but they really believe it's going to happen during this eclipse. The locusts may already be loose and maybe just be in full. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. And what comes next? A famine? Well, it did in 1803. A famine came in the Midwest, and people had to go to Little Egypt because that was the only area where actually they had corn and grain and things growing. A lot of the Midwest was wiped out during that time. It was a very droughtful year, the same year as the cicadas. Now, this very rare locust emergence that has been seen, hasn't been even seen in 221 years, will hit Illinois. And and not just Illinois, the main spot of X marks the spot. The 2024 cicada explosion will see two different broods of cicadas, one that's supposed to come out every 13 years, and the other that comes out of the ground every 17 years. They're going to both come out of the ground on the same year at the same time as the solar eclipse. What? I mean, are you serious? Are you seriously serious? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And these are two plagues that were in Egypt. And the area is called Little Egypt. And oh, by the way, the solar eclipses are such a powerful event. Get this rare duel, very rare duel, has not happened since 1803. And while any given 13-year brood and 17-year brood can occasionally maybe match, they never do for some reason. NBC News and other news media outlets are starting to wonder, is this apocalyptic? Are you serious? Is it a sign in the heavens? Is it a sign on the earth? Should we be watching? The Bible says in Genesis that there'll be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. God created them for signs and seasons, for days and years. And so this means Illinois will be in this unique position of the X of the two solar eclipses and the emergence of two different types of locusts, all happening at the same time. The cicadas will typically emerge as the ground begins to warm. Now, it could happen if spring is early, it will happen in early April. If spring is late, it may not happen till mid-May. Okay, but either way, it's going to happen, and it will happen in the same area that X marks the spot. This is incredible, what's going to take place. It really is. Now, it would shock me. I mean, it wouldn't shock me, but it would blow my mind if these two sets of cicadas come out like 2 days, 3 days just before the eclipse. They may not come out till mid-May, but it would just blow my mind. Locust, plagues of locusts, 2 plagues to hit Illinois during the solar eclipse, guys, in April. It's also incredible. Back in 1956, it was reported that an emergent hole, they called it 311 emergent holes per square yard, was in a forested floodplain near Chicago, which experts say translated to 1.5 million cicadas per acre, according to the University of Illinois. That was 1956, but it was only one kind. It wasn't both. Both of them have not ever come out the same time since 1803. Hasn't happened since 1803. So this is unbelievable. But in 1956, it was a bad year for a ton of locusts. When the cicadas start dying and dropping from the trees later in the spring, there are large numbers on the ground. The odor from the rotting locusts is very noticeable, according to the University of Illinois. In 1990, there were reports from people in Chicago having to use snow shovels to clean their sidewalks of the dead cicadas. And meanwhile, the other brood of cicadas have a more widespread population. They're going to be covering parts of, yes, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Louisiana, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Kentucky, Tennessee. Yeah, it's going to be, that one has broader. One is basically Illinois. The other one is very broad. But Illinois is going to get both at the same time, eating away at the leaves on the trees, eating, just like a consuming, unbelievable situation. We're going to experience 2 plagues of Egypt. 2 plagues of Egypt. And so I've been talking about these solar eclipses. You guys know this. I started talking about the first one coming in 2017 because it was August the 21st, 2017. It was Heidi and I, it was our 35th wedding anniversary on the very day of the solar eclipse. And we spent our anniversary in Idaho seeing a phenomenal prophetic sign. But before it ever came, I was talking about it about 7 years before that, because I knew that these 2 were going to happen in a 7-year window. And I just wondered how much prophetic stuff would be going on during those 7 years. I even wondered, would that be the 7-year tribulation period? I didn't know. Watching closely, I know one thing. We've had an unbelievable amount of prophetic events take place in this 7 years between eclipses. Unbelievable, including now the attack on Israel on October the 7th, the war in the Middle East, the attack by Vladimir Putin's Russia on Ukraine, the war that's going on in Europe, and who knows, China may attack Taiwan and go to war with them, or with the Philippines, or with Indonesia, or with Vietnam, or who knows, because they really want the entire South Pacific. We don't know. But we're getting closer and closer and closer to the coming of Jesus Christ. It's unbelievable. But here we are, just very close now. We're closing in on the second total solar eclipse of the sun, and it will cross America, including X marks the spot there in Illinois, and it could be that both of these breeds of locusts will come out at the same time. They are going to do it. Whether they do it during this eclipse or not, I don't know. But certainly they're going to do it. And Southern Illinois, you are going to get hit with 2 of the plagues of Egypt this year in 2024. And let's hope you don't get any more. Let's hope that the Mississippi doesn't turn blood red. Let's hope that we don't see it, that we don't see this coming out of the Mississippi and out of the Illinois River Let's hope frogs don't just start coming out, and the frogs may come out and start eating the locusts. Who knows what just might happen? It's insane to think about it. It really is. And then what about what about if the dust starts turning into lice? And what if the flies swarm because of all the dead locusts? And what if what am I supposed to do with all this? I don't know. It's insane. But we are entering in to I'm not going to say we're entering in. We are already right slap dab in the middle of the end times. And so keep your eyes open. You heard it here first. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if the plagues from the Bible start to be, and boy, Illinois, let's just talk about it. We've got a lot of great people that live in Illinois, a lot of good Christians, a lot of followers of our online church. They must be thinking that this is the end of time, that these events are going to happen in their state. But also, they've been dealing with a lot of corruption in Chicago. They've been dealing with a lot of crime in Chicago. These folks know that things are upside down. And so, yes, cicadas, 2 different types of cicadas coming out of the ground at the same time. It hasn't done this since 1803. And I'm going to ask a question. Could we have the New Madrid fault line? Could the New Madrid fault line go during this same period of time? Because it did in 1811 and again in 1812 after Tecumseh, after he cursed America. And he also put a curse on the presidents of the United States and said that every president in the year 0 would die in office, and they did for 7 straight times until finally Reagan broke the curse. He didn't die, although he was shot. Also, in 8, he said there would be a major earthquakes. Well, in 1811, there was a major earthquake, a 7.8 in New Madrid fault line. It was incredible. And then the next year, 1812, it did it again, and that one even bigger. It was an 8.1, and it rode the Mississippi backwards, and it reshaped the path of the Mississippi. Here we are again. We're in the last days. We're in these end times. What apocalyptic, catastrophic, cataclysmic event of biblical proportion is about to take place. Folks, I'm just saying. We're in the end times. Get ready for the locusts. Get ready for the Cicada locusts. Get ready for the solar eclipse. Here's why you want to get Planet X. This is why it's so important to get this webinar. We're only 2 days away. Planet X, what's next? Well, find out, because the bombs that Mike around the world drops on us, and you know how he is. He tells, when he said we're going to have a plague was going to hit the earth and kill millions of people, he said that in November, actually right at the beginning of November 2019. He said by March they'll be dying by the hundreds of thousands in China, and they did. He said it would spread all over the world, and it did. He's predicted several earthquakes. He has told us there'd be extreme straight-line winds. He told us that there would be fires burning. There would be an increase in volcanism, increase in hurricanes and tornadoes, increase in earthquakes, straight-line winds. He said last summer would be a massive heat wave. He said this winter would be a massive freeze. Yeah. And now, wait till you hear what bombs he drops during this webinar. And not just him, but the new updated information from Gil Brazard, BP Earthwatch. Stan Dale's incredible in this. And Rex Bear has the greatest information I've ever seen. This is the best he's ever done. I've never seen it. He has researched it, including interviewing one of the elders of the Hopi Indians, who says what about Planet X and what their legends they've passed down about this coming Nibiru. Stay awake, folks. Stay awake. We're running out of time. You better believe. And here's what you need to believe in. These signs are just to help you to believe the Bible. This is why God's doing it. Do you believe? Do you believe? Do you believe in Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords? Old man Wrigley lived in that White House down the street where I grew up. Mama used to send me over with things. We struck a friendship up. I spent a lot of long summers out on his old porch swing. This hasn't happened since 1803. Says he was in the war and in the Navy. Lost his wife, lost his baby. Broke down and asked him one time. Speaking of BP Earthwatch, there he is. From going crazy. He said, I'll see my wife and son in just a little while. I asked him what he meant. He looked at me and he smiled, said, I raise my hands, I bow my head. I'm finding more and more truth in the words written in red. They tell me that there's more to life than just what I can see. Oh, I believe. A few years later, I was off to college, talking to my mom on the phone one night, getting all caught up on all the gossip, the ins and outs of small town life. She said, oh, by the way, son, old man Wrigley died. Later on that night, I laid there thinking back, thought about a couple long lost summers. I didn't know whether to cry or laugh, if there was ever anybody who deserved a ticket to the other side. It would be that sweet old man who looked me in the eyes, and I raised my hands, I bow my head. I'm finding more and more truth in the words written in red. They tell me that there's more to life than just what I can see. I can't quote the book, the chapter, or the verse, but you can't tell me it all ends in a slow ride in a hearse. You know I'm more and more convinced the longer that I live. Yes, it can't be, no it can't be, no it can't be all there is. I raise my hands, I bow my head. I'm finding more and more truth, the words written in red. They tell me that there's more to life than just what I can see. Oh, I believe. I believe. Oh, yes, I believe. I believe. And I believe there's a lot of folks that believe out there. A lot of you. I believe. That's why this amazing online church is so powerful, because it's made up of believers. Oh, I believe. I believe. I believe. Yes, I believe. And we're seeing more signs all the time. is coming soon. Will you be ready? I believe. Powerful song. That was, Ronnie Dunn, when he sang that with Brooks and Dunn. I mean, you just can't,
There's one simple vision hack anyone can use to improve vision.
You cannot beat that. I mean, really, what a great song. What a great, great song. Again, we all know that this solar eclipse is going to happen on April the 8th. What we didn't realize was two different sets of cicadas are going to emerge from the ground about that same time. That has not happened since 1803. And it's going to happen. They're going to come out of the ground in Illinois, which is where X marks the spot when the second solar eclipse, total eclipse of the sun, goes across America. And that area where that eclipse, where the X marks the spot, is called Little Egypt. It's Carbondale, Illinois. That area is known as Little Egypt because back in 1803, when there was a major drought and famine, the only place that you could find grain and food and wheat and stuff was down in this area called Little Egypt. And the people from Chicago had to come all the way down to southern Illinois to buy food, just like what happened in the days of Egypt. What else happened in 1803? The two sets of locusts came out of the ground. That has not happened since 1803. Now, there wasn't a solar eclipse in 1803. There was a total eclipse, but it didn't go across there. Okay, by the way, not only is it called Little Egypt, but 10 miles down the road is Cairo, Illinois. What? And the mascot of Southern Illinois University, that's in Carbondale, its mascot is the Salukis, which is the dog of the pharaohs. You can't make this stuff up. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to have a second solar eclipse that marks the spot. There's a pyramid in Illinois, 60 miles from there. You're going to have the X marks the spot there, and you're going to have two plagues of cicadas coming out of the ground. Now, they may come out of the ground a few days before this eclipse. They may come out of the ground a week or two after the eclipse. They may not even come out of the ground till mid-May. But they could come out of the ground around the same time my book comes out. I'd be shocked if that happens. On April the 2nd, my book is released, Revelation 9:11, which I do talk about the solar eclipse and the signs of it. The book does come out on April 2nd, just 6 days before the eclipse. We write about it in the book. So here we are. You're in a very and oh, by the way, rumors of wars. You see the situations in Europe. You see what's going on in the Middle East. You see what's about to happen in the South Pacific. Yeah, it's crazy what's going on. It is absolutely crazy. Now, you want to get your ticket for the webinar. We're just 2 days away. 2 days away. 2 days away. 2 days away. At 6 p.m. on Friday night, we will release it. And I'm telling you, BP Earthwatch, I saw earlier, tremendous presentation and information. He always has done that. He always does that. But he was really on point during this webinar. And they all were, really. They all were. Okay? So don't miss it. Get your ticket, all right? I'll be back. Lord willing, I'll be back. Could you imagine, though, if these two plagues of locusts come out a day or so, or 24 hours, or 48 hours before the eclipse? I mean, I'm just saying it could happen. I don't know. But let me say this. The New Madrid fault line, if there was ever a time that I'm concerned about the New Madrid, it's this year, it's this spring. I'm sorry, but I can't help it. It's like it's like it could happen. It is so overdue. That's the last thing we need, but it could happen. That's why we need to be ready. We're running out of time. Give your life to Jesus Christ. Be saved and be washed in the blood and have the joy. No fear here. I'm watching these signs. I'm not afraid. I'll go to Indiana when this breaks loose, and I'll go around picking up cicadas in my front yard and backyard and sweeping them off the porch and trying to keep them out of the pool in the back and trying to do whatever we can do. But you can't stop the hand of God. You can't stop the signs of his coming. Are you saved?